Hey there, it's Emily, Super Sensitive Human, and people seem to like my last video with coronavirus self-isolation tips, so I want to do another video having to do with the coronavirus on gifts of this experience. And you know, if you're familiar with the tarot cards, you may know that the Tower is generally a negative card of disaster, but disaster that brings revelations and new beginnings. Sometimes things have to fall apart in order to get better if you're not going to make them better any other way. I don't think they have to, but a lot of times that's just how it happens in the way the world is today. People need to be woken up by bad things. As an absolute, I don't believe that. So first takeaway that I can see is these are all, you know, my own experience. First takeaway would be realizing how little you need. Like, for example, right now people aren't going out and they're not buying a lot of stuff, and you can order stuff online, but the shipping seems to be delayed. So like for me, I was going to order deodorant the other day, and I looked on Amazon for natural deodorant, and it was like delivery date April 30th. And I was like, never mind, I'm just gonna use baking soda. And if I wanted to get fancy about it, maybe I would melt some coconut oil and put the baking soda in there and make a little chunky deodorant. But point being, you really don't need that much. I'd like to get a haircut, but you know what? I just trimmed off the ends of my hair, and that's good enough for now. Could be good enough for the rest of my life. I've been doing it anyway. I'm too lazy to get a haircut. It's been a couple years. So on the flip side of what do you need is how little you need is how resourceful you can be. And that's a fun opportunity to realize how many resources you actually have or can tap into. Now, if you want a TV show recommendation that's all about this, I recommend watching Schitt's Creek on Netflix, seasons 1 through 5, because this is all about a family who loses everything and finds each other, finds love. They have to move to this motel in a small town, sort of like self-isolation, because there's only two rooms now. The brother and sister share one, the mom and dad share another hotel room, and they have to rebuild their lives from that. So you can take that and imagine rebuilding your life, if you had to, from where you are now, and what you would do with the resources you have right now. I don't know. I have been told that I'm a very resourceful person. I can't imagine ever getting bored with the things that I have. There's so much to do, too much to do. I'm an overwhelmed person because I have too many ideas. Like just having this camera and access to YouTube and my computer, I could make infinite videos until one of those things breaks. I've got so many things. I've got a whole box full of seeds to entertain me for the rest of my life, because you can save the seeds and replant them each year. You never even have to buy new ones if you can save them. Got musical instruments right here. Keyboard, chords, flute, drum, band. We've got a band going. I've got my body, which can do exercises, infinite types of exercises, dance, yoga, tai chi, stretching. This is a good opportunity that I might take to learn some splits. I might do a split tutorial and work on my splits. Gift or attitude number 2. I think you need the attitude, proper attitude, to see the gifts, and then you can take advantage of them. So the attitude is, for every problem there is an equal and opposite solution. As bad as something is, there's a cure that's miraculous for that. And I truly believe that energetically, because when the energy, you'll say it splits, that it just like has to logically be true. So, for example, I don't know what some solutions might be that would be a miraculous and easy solution to match the ease with which the coronavirus is spreading and the rate at which it kills. But perhaps some solutions that I can think of, just knowing what I know about biohacking, I might look into ozone treatment. Ozone kills viruses. There's a really inspiring podcast that I can link to about a doctor who used it for the Ebola virus, which is much more deadly than this virus, but because it's so deadly, it doesn't spread very far. Then I would think of UV light. UV light is a solution that kills things, and there's such thing as UV blood irradiation, where you actually get your blood passed through UV light and back into your body, I think is how it works. Ozone also can do that, get ozonated blood. Well, my oxygen chambers could be a solution that's very viable, because not only do they deal with causes and effects of the disease, like generically, like deal with killing viruses. Oxygen helps the immune system and helps inflammation, but it also directly relates to the problem that's killing people with the coronavirus, which is their lungs and their breathing. It's apparently hard to breathe, and people start to lose oxygen, and that's what they're in the ER for. So perhaps that could be a solution. And you know, this is an opportunity to think outside of the box about these things, and probably the medical establishment's not going to do that at all, because that's not what they do. There's not a lot of support for alternative therapies like this. Oh, another thing that I saw was a video that may or may not be true about blow drying your nose, because the virus probably dies at about 133 degrees. I think that's what they say about the SARS virus. And if you blow dry your nose, which is where it lives, then it basically kills it. So that could be an easy thing that a lot of people could implement, that a lot of people have hair dryers that is probably not going to be a thing that's ever going to be studied seriously at this point, because there's who has an interest in this? The hair dryer people? I don't think they know about it, so they might have an interest if they actually knew that that was a thing. Third attitude/gift. This is a good time to practice your gratitude and what you're grateful for. We all know that gratitude boosts your immune system and fear doesn't. So it's very easy to think of things to be grateful for, I think. They just come to my mind automatically, like, gee, I'm glad it's not winter right now, because if everybody was inside and it was really wintry, that would just be that much worse. At least people are still getting outside and getting some sunlight and spring flowers and things to keep their morale up, because you don't want to have cabin fever in a cabin fever environment. Another thing I am automatically grateful for is the internet to share my YouTube videos, because that keeps me from being lonely, and that's something that I've been doing for years because I'm already socially isolated. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for I've talked to a couple of my other chronic fatigue friends, and there's agreement there that We actually feel a little bit better because it's like, oh good, everybody else's life is falling apart and they're not very productive right now. So I feel better about my shitty life, and less pressured to be, there's so much pressure in life to be a productive citizen and be normal and go to work and make your money and all this stuff. And now that other people aren't doing it, it's like a big relief. It's like, if I just knew that no one was ever going to work again, I don't know, my chronic fatigue might just go away. I'd be so excited that I didn't have to feel guilty. And that I didn't have to go to work either. In this kind of environment, all my liabilities become assets. All my life experience from having had the difficulties that I've had now all of a sudden become assets and make me more valuable than a normal person. So all my years that I spent studying plants and survivalism and rewilding and you know, all the times I dumpster dived or lived in little shelters in the woods, or just kind of lived on the fringy lifestyle, I know very well how easy it is to continue surviving and how that's really not a threat, like very much at all. That there's a lot of options for not having an income and a lot of ways to keep going. So, you know, that is a great asset. And also just emotionally dealing with stress and pain and being able to sit with loneliness and all these things all of a sudden become very valuable resources and experiences that other people may not have had. So all the introverts in the world are celebrating right now at how well they're doing, while the extroverts are suffering. And going back to gratitude, would I much rather have a tower moment that is a pandemic than a heartbreak, like a bad relationship breakup? Absolutely. Oh my God, it's no comparison. Attitude gift number 4. This is an opportunity that obviously a lot of people have already thought of what's broken about the system and how we can fix that with the government and what. Now all of a sudden people are like all in on universal basic income and relieving student loan debt and Medicare for all. And it's like, how come now you're on board with this? I don't know what to say about that other than I'm pretty much a libertarian, but I do believe in those basic things because I believe that everybody is connected and nobody can truly be flourishing and enlightened until everybody is. And I just think that on a basic logical cost-benefit analysis that those things generally, scientifically speaking, check out as being actually less costly to the government and the populace as far as reducing crime and reducing all these other costs that come out of poverty and things like that. Attitude/gift number 5, I already mentioned in my last video, this is a good time to reevaluate your personal sustainability. People who are probably feeling the most secure and at ease right now are survivalists, preppers, those religions that ask you to have like a year of supplies. Is that like Jehovah's Witness, Mormon? And not just having supplies, that is only a very small part of personal sustainability, but reevaluating your sustainability for all disasters of various kinds and how you can implement resiliency into your life with growing your own foods. And let's say everybody plants one tree in their yard right now that is maybe you plant a peach and your neighbor plants an apple and the one down the street plants a pecan, and now all of a sudden you each have something to trade with each other, and you each have that little bit of security that in 20 years is going to be enough to feed the whole block. Collecting rainwater could be a good thing to think about doing if you've got access to gutters and whatnot. Attitude number 6, this is a good time to reevaluate what you could have to offer the world if you could never go back to your regular job. What are you good at, and what are your skills, and what if you can't think of any, what could you start doing with what you're interested in? This could be a fun fantasy to be like, all right, well, I don't know, but maybe I'll just get into soap making. Everyone loves soap, so I am going to get into soap making so that I have something valuable to trade with somebody else in a barter economy. And maybe fantasize about that, and what would be something aligned with your personal values that could actually become your actual job if you don't even like the job that you have. Like, for me, the obvious thing that comes to mind is healing, and how could I offer people healing stuff online or by distance, or in person when the social distancing stuff lifts. And along those lines, some interesting books you might want to read are Sacred Economics by Charles Eisenstein, and The More Beautiful World We Know in Our Hearts is Possible by Charles Eisenstein. I'm not saying that I agree with whatever totally is in those books. They're just ideas, inspiration, something that you can take the positive from, leave the negative, whatever you want. Speaking of which, going back to the solutions, the book I would recommend that's for a time like this that's interesting is called The Power of 8 by Lynn McTaggart. I think I recommended this before. The Power of 8 is a book about distance, intentional healing / ability to change things. So the idea is you get a group of at least 8 people to concentrate on something, and the science shows that it does make an impact. And the book goes through a whole bunch of different experiments impacting various global situations after people meet in these groups to set their intention to resolve something. And she's actually doing ones for this disease, and who knows, it's something to participate in if you want to. And it's something that people who do participate in actually say that they receive the benefit, even though that's not the goal. Might be to stop coronavirus from spreading. The people in the group might have mystical moments while they're doing this, because they're tapping into this crazy energy and have breakthroughs in their own life that have nothing to do with what they're focusing on. Attitude / gift number 6 is to take this time to go inside your house and go inside your feelings. All right, so as a psychologist, I believe that not feeling your feelings is one of the major causes of disease, and that everybody has all this built up emotional baggage. And I was saying in my last video, recommending some different types of therapies, but you can also do it yourself, maybe a little bit less effectively, but still it's a practice you should try to implement in your life through meditating and just really getting present with yourself and showing yourself presence and attention is a way of showing yourself love when you're like, ugh, I don't know how to love myself, gross. It's much like just being with yourself, just like you would just be with your friend who was depressed and just listen to them, spend time with them. Don't try and change them necessarily, give them a bunch of suggestions. A lot of times the best thing to do is just be there. And can you do that with yourself? And this is a great time to start practicing that, because everything's slowing down and you can take this opportunity where most people don't have the time and the luxury to just do a lot of meditation and stuff. Now they do. I guess if I was going to recommend one thing that you could do on your own that would be a way to process some of these stuck energies and stuck emotions, I might try humming or toning, because that's just a really easy way to get stuff moving. And you might find if you start doing it that you start to yawn a lot, and that's a really good way to know that it's working if you start yawning a lot. So by toning, I just mean like, that was a bad tone. Whatever tone comes out is the right one though. So whatever one matches the way you feel, use that tone. When it changes, change the tone, and see what happens. Attitude/gift number 8. This is a great time to prioritize your own health. I already said that a bit in the last video, but it's worth saying again. You know, one thing that I do at my house a lot is play like holistic rehab. Like when I have a friend come over from maybe passing through, or maybe I'll invite a friend over who wants to do this specifically, we'll play like holistic retreat and eat the foods and make the juices and exercise and try and incorporate all that stuff into a daily routine with the inspiration of each other, with 2 people doing it. Go on the walks, get the sunshine. Speaking of sunshine, you know what kills viruses is UV rays from the sun. They say it's not that strong, but they also say that you should leave your packages and stuff outside if you're worried about there being germs on them. And I think that one of the reasons is because the UV rays will kill viruses, in addition to various temperature extremes. Also, vitamin D improves the immune system. Everybody is basically deficient in vitamin D because of our modern lifestyles and not getting enough sunlight. So now is the time to go outside, take your vitamin D to improve your immune system and your resistance to viruses. Here's the thing about improving your health, prioritizing your health, is holistic remedies and lifestyle practices are going to not just improve your chances of not getting or not suffering from this coronavirus, but they're going to impact everything. That's the way the world generally works when you're doing it right. You do one good thing, it impacts a wide variety of things. So when you're eating right, it's going to not only boost your immune system for this time period that you don't want to get this virus, but it's going to help you with things that are a lot more realistically going to kill you in the future, like cancer and heart disease. You're probably going to die of one of those things, so you can be doing stuff about that now with your diet and your nutrition and your lifestyle that is going to improve your life now and improve it later and improve it in the middle, because you're gonna feel the less inflammation you have, the better you're gonna feel, the more happier you're gonna be. So it's really just a win-win-win type situation going on here. Oh, by the way, another benefit of what's going on right now is air pollution is going way down. And you know that air pollution actually kills a lot of people. Asthma actually kills a lot of people. So that's another way to spin this into a positive and things to be grateful for, and things that we might want to change permanently about the way that we live is what is happening with the ecosystem and people's health that's actually better that the economy and activity is down. Attitude gift number 9 is to recognize the benefits and the opportunities for improving the health not just of ourselves but of the planet right now. Okay, it's very difficult for me to separate the health of the planet and the health of others and the health of ourselves stuff, because and going inward stuff. All these three things that three tips that I've just talked about are really very, very interconnected from my point of view, because I take a very personal, holistically selfish point of view that the number one thing you have to do in your life is take care of your own energy field and be as aligned as possible, and have the highest vibration that you can achieve as possible. That sounds a little bit pressure-y, but you know what I mean. Your vibration is not just the sum of your thoughts, it's the sum of all your energy field. It's your beliefs, your actions, the choices you make every day contribute most to your vibration, and your thoughts are just one little thing on the top of that. The best holistic thing that you can do to protect yourself from everything negative, including disease, including depression, including being the victim of some circumstance that you think that you can't control, you do control it in a way by having a high vibration that kind of creates a protective bubble around you, and also creates the world around you holographically based on what's happening inside you. So let's say that there's infinite or very many multiverse parallel realities out there, and when you make a decision, you can jump into a different one. So let's say there's a reality where the virus keeps on going and everybody is in lockdown for the rest of the year, and there's one where in 2 weeks it seems to have disappeared and it's over. That could be entirely singly up to you. Not co-creation, no, up to you based on your ability to tap into the highest good. So let's say the highest good, and this is speculative, would be for the virus to go away in 2 weeks, just kind of disappear, no more people reporting cases. There might be a way that you can personally enhance the likelihood of that happening by the decisions that you are making in your life right now, by getting aligned. If you're Christian, you would call it following God's plan for you. Okay, so people talk about being the change you wish to see in the world, but I think that they screw it up because they think that then they have to do everything and be a part of this cause and that cause, and you can't be a part of every cause, and you can't change your life radically overnight, and it doesn't really matter that much if you have the plastic bag or the other bag. It's more important that you change inside yourself and change your own energy field and heal your own wounds, and then that's where all those other actions come from. That now, in order to change, you have to have energy, and so in order to have energy, you have to have your energy flowing well, and in order to have your energy flowing well, you have to heal these things, and then you're just naturally attracted to and naturally can't help but be the type of person who would carry the cloth bag, or would exercise, or would eat well, or would contribute to this cause, or would find a career that really brings light to the world and not one that contributes to darkness, like being a representative for CenturyLink or something like that. Ew. My final tip slash attitude during this time is this is a time to examine connections. Everybody's really into how connected we are. Like, I can't hang out with you because then you might hang out with your grandma, and then your grandma might get the disease. And so we're like hyper aware of how connected we are. And why aren't we hyper aware of that with other things? And why do we care about this? And why don't we care about other ways that we could be affecting each other and helping each other? Obviously, the environment is one example, but there's so many other things that we don't care about, like because of the way that our brains are programmed to care about immediate threats and not long-term threats, or to care about personal threats and not things that we think other people are responsible for. So nobody cares, for example, about how many drug overdoses there are, even though more people in the United States have died this month of drug overdose than coronavirus. We don't think about those people because they're like the lowest level of society and they're doing it to themselves, and maybe they don't really affect us and we don't really affect them, or we don't think that we can do anything. And it's like, okay, but if we are all connected, then yes, we can. There must be things that we must have some relationship to those people, and there must be something that we can do. And where are we being hypocritical about our connections? And why is it okay for like 9 million people to die of hunger every year? And what can we do about that? And do we have extra food or extra money for extra food, just as much as we have the ability to not go to work and to not leave our houses? Actually, a lot of us do. So why is this still a worldwide problem? If you watched this to the end, thank you for watching. That's basically my overall summary. Would be, this is a time of opportunity and a time to make proactive, positive changes to create the world and the personal lives that are better than they were before. And a lot of that has to do with thinking on a holistic level, at a governmental level, what changes are going to benefit everybody holistically, such as universal basic income. What changes are going to benefit everybody holistically on an environmental level, such as more resilience in food production and distribution and composting. You can think holistically on the individual level about how making changes in your internal energetic environment is good for people around you, good for you, good for everybody around you, the most likely to step into the multiverse that's the most heavenly and appealing. So hopefully all this makes sense and you're inspired to do some inner work, to research innovative solutions, get excited about ways the world could change, get excited about what role you could personally play in that by getting in touch with your inner instinct and God's plan for you. And let me know what you think. All right, I'll talk to you soon.